In this video, following on from our last video, I want to tell you what I think early access should be and what would be better for the developer and the consumer of racing simulators or just video games in general. I'm going to make this video shorter, quicker and much more sexy than the previous video because that was too long and most people commented based on the title rather than watching the video, but I can't blame them because the video was too long. Make sure to click the like button. You thought I was going to say subscribe first. Then you can subscribe to unsubscribe. And of course, big thank you to all our channel members and supporters. Memberships allow me to make videos like this that nobody really wants to watch and to go to events and everything. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys. So the type of early access that I think really works and works for developers and the consumer is this type of early access that you got with Next Car Game and what you see with Wreckfest 2. Also, the type of early access that you got with the original, the normal Assetto Corsa. And that early access is one where the developer only puts out incredibly polished stuff, but crucially, it's not much stuff. It's literally like a slither of what they're trying to achieve in the most basic of forms. So with Wreckfest 2, for example, from its early access, you get like one or two cars. There's one or two tracks at the beginning. You get to see what the graphics engine generally is. You get a basic race. You just have the real basics there. You can see how it's evolved from the previous Wreckfest game, and you can test it. You can give some feedback on if your hardware works or doesn't work, how well the frame rate is, what frame rate issues there are. But fundamentally, it's an incredibly minimal early access. You don't have much content there. The UI might not work fully, but it works. It's lacking features, but it's basically a vertical slice of what the final game would be. And it's fun and polished and isn't going to do anything mental, right? It's not going to confuse. Someone could download it that doesn't really understand the game at all, and they would come away from it understanding what the point of the game is and the essence of it, and probably be quite enthused and excited for future stuff to happen, right? That was exactly the same with the original Assetto Corsa early access. It was actually less than Wreckfest. It was Mazione, I think it was, anyway, I think that's the name of the track. Beautiful sounding Italian words that I've just butchered. With the Lotus Evora, I believe, or maybe it might, I don't think it was Elise, I think it was Lotus Evora on a small Italian track. The early access demonstrated the force feedback, which was amazing in Assetto Corsa 1, the graphics engine, which was a sizable step up from previous games, and the basic handling of Assetto Corsa 1. And it was literally just a hot lap mode. So you could be like, oh, my wheel works, the cars handle really nice, this one vehicle demonstrates the physics of the force feedback, fantastic, and the track looks really nice, it's clearly a laser scan track. You could understand the essence of what AC1 was meant to be about from that early access, and you could have fun driving that car. Lacked content. You didn't know what the full scope of the game was going to be, but you were like, right, I can see where Kudos are going with this. I can see it's an evolution from Netcar Pro and a continuation effectively from Ferrari Virtual Academy, right? It didn't have anything in it that was massively broken. It wasn't hanging your computer. It didn't have stuff in it that would just confuse people. If you got the Kudos Assetto Corsa 1 early access, you'd be like, I want more. And gradually, Kunos rolled out more content, but each time it was incredibly polished. You might not have liked it, you might not have been exactly what you wanted, but it was really polished. So each time you're like, at least I'm getting something polished and cohesive, right? And coherent. And that is the crucial thing with early access. Also, just to pop it in there, there's this myth online that AC1's early access was really bad and that the cars handled terrible and it was awful. It's just made up. It's like, it is absolutely made up. It's bizarre. It's people have made it up based off how bad ACC's early access and early versions were, and now Evo's early access. People just make things up to try and justify a future argument. The reason I know that AC1's early access was fantastic and great fun is because on the same day that it dropped, I'd been to the dentist and had like dental procedures that were horrific, and then I was like literally cycling back to my house and I was like, oh, I'm playing the early access, this is good, this is made up for a terrible day. So and at the same time I have friends that are sad, miserable people that do real race driving, and they were like, oh my god, this is amazing, this fixes these issues from R Factor 1, it doesn't do these characteristics, it's got more detail than these things. You know, I've always been a force feedback mental person. So from day one, it was really quite good. Not perfect, but not broken. So that is the key thing when it comes to early access, and that is what developers should really be aiming for. And weirdly, it's in many ways less work for a developer to have a very, very minimal early access with as little as possible in it than it is for them to have an early access that has a bit of multiplayer, multiple cars, multiple modes, a whole bunch of stuff in it, right? It's less work and it's better for the consumer. So developers should just really only put in early access the absolute bare minimum, and then until you've got something better, don't release anything. Let people stew on it. Let people just wait. The moment you release dodgy software, it immediately undermines everything. It's like very similar to if you go to a restaurant. Here we go, food analogies. If you go to a restaurant, you could have a three-course meal. I'm often eating three-course meals, and two of those courses could be absolutely fantastic. They might not be the most spectacular, but it could be really nicely delivered, and you'd be like, oh, that's a good meal. And then if they bring out a dog turd on a plate for your dessert, it's going to ruin the whole meal. You're going to be like, oh, that's the dog turd restaurant. You know, it ruins everything. It's all about consistency, and consistency at a similar level. Sometimes that level has to be lower, but if it's consistent and not absolutely terrible, that's better. So developers should just keep things simple, and they should only put in early access stuff that's actually polished. Otherwise, it's a complete confusing mess. So, separate to that, there's also the thing that really blows my mind that's happened recently is sim racers and gamers defending developers to such an absurd level. If a developer puts something into early access and they want critical feedback, well, they're going to get it, aren't they? Can you blame YouTubers from being critical, applying their knowledge to them knowing the space and pointing out what's good or bad? Or can you blame YouTubers for uploading meme videos of weird stuff that's happening? What do they expect that's going to happen? That's, if anything, if they're going to put out sloppy, broken stuff, you're going to get people being critical of it. Sure, some people will be critical in a more productive way than other people, but some people won't. You've put something out there, people are going to comment on it. So deal with it, and don't tell people not to comment on something that's been put out there. And I really don't get this whole weird sort of sycophantic support of developers. To be clear though, there is obviously a balance. There's no point in someone just attacking a developer or attacking the people working on the game. That doesn't help anyone, it's not productive. But actually, using Evo as an example, I think the feedback's been pretty lax. The last update, there's the actual possibility that people's arms could have been broken. Look at Jimmy Broadbent's multiplayer clip. Fortunately, the game didn't dare to mess with me, but there's also some posts on Reddit and on the internet of the netcode bugging out and then cars zooming into the car or pinballing them off at the speed of sound. With a direct drive wheel on moderately high settings, that is genuinely dangerous. What sort of press are you going to get if you broke Jimmy Broadbent's arms, or a YouTuber's arms, or just someone's arms and they happen to be recording it? If you broke their arms with your game in early access, I'm not saying it's Kudos' fault for people having high force feedback settings, but it is their fault if a sim does something that nobody has ever seen in a sim before, that's completely unexpected, that then was to break their arms with their wheel. So I think people are actually being incredibly mild about Evo on the grand scheme of things. Compared to other gaming spaces, the sim racing space is filled with the most mega nerdy of nerds, and a lot of people that are musicians, nerds, artists, nerds, car fans, losers. You know, it is filled with people that are normally people that have been bullied from a young age, so they're a bit more empathetic. But generally, from my user base and what I see generally online, people generally understand that sims are hard to make, and obviously the developers are trying to do their best. But at the same time, if someone puts something out for early access and it's a bit shitty, it's fair to be critical of it. So don't attack people like a weirdo sycophant for those people being fairly critical of stuff. Do you want another 17 years of an iRacing type situation where only in the last 5 years did a bunch of real drivers speak out and point out that no, real tyres do not just turn off at the limit, and no, grip doesn't disappear for multiple seconds in optimal conditions? The grip actually comes back very quickly and is actually much more like how the original Assetto Corsa drives, or how Automobilista 1 drives, or, you know. So do you want another iRacing? Because being a sycophant is how you get another iRacing. But maybe people do want that. Maybe it's all about being a cult member and feeling like you're part of something, because at the end of the day, a lot of humans want to feel like they belong to something. Though weirdly, no one wants to feel like they belong to this channel. Can't think why. So anyway, yes, this video went on too long again. I will one day get good at what my supposed job is. I think those are fair points, because I made them. But early access, they should be to the point, polished, a lot less content, and that's better for the developer and for the consumer. Developers should only put stuff out that is actually polished and actually good, and if they can't do that, don't put it out at all. You can still sell the early access, but just make people wait. That will get them hyped anyway. And whatever does come out in early access, people should complain about and be critical about, and other people should learn to deal with that. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Until the next one, happy tea drinking, take care, and goodbye.